What's going on, guys? Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking us on out. New Porpoise Pod coming out to preview the game on Saturday. So set your podcast subscriptions to that. My head guy, Alejandro Solana. We've had a busy week. We apologize for the lack of episodes between the Heat schedule, other conflicts that I've had to deal with. We've just been having a tough time to get together and make it happen. You know, my new radio schedule, the way it being, it's not as easy to find that time, but we will get it out to you guys, and we'll make good on it next week on what's been a really, really crazy week in Dolphins land. And there's definitely been plenty of episodes on the Tobin and Leroy show that you guys can check out. All the links are below this video. Subscribe and just keep supporting the way that you guys do. Coming up this week, though, after all the celebration of getting Bradley Chubb into the fold with the Miami Dolphins and Jeff Wilson Jr., the Miami Dolphins putting all their chips in the middle of the table. Everybody's dancing around. It's goosies galore all around Dolphin land. But they do have the Chicago Bears coming up this week, going out on the road yet again for another NFC North team. And we saw that they were able to take care of business last week against the Detroit Lions, who are one of the worst defenses in the league. This is kind of a fascinating matchup because you have a Bears team that seemingly has added to their offense and bolstered some things and getting their young quarterback some help in Chase Claypool, but also has been selling off their defense because they let go of the league leader in tackles and they let go of a monster pass rusher and our former friend Robert Quinn. So it's kind of hard to read the room on where the Chicago Bears are and what their plans are because they are in a division right now that is being dominated by the Minnesota Vikings. I don't think that they're probably smart in not thinking that they could make some kind of late run as far as contending is concerned. But I will say that Justin Fields, for as bad as it looked for that Thursday night game where it looked like rock bottom for him, he has looked a lot better these last couple weeks, and he's dynamic. You know, he is still super athletic. They haven't been having him throw as much. Definitely been more of an efficient game, but his run ability is still something that really, really the Dolphins do need to respect. And we saw against a guy like Lamar Jackson, you know, the Dolphins got burned a couple of times before they were able to corral everything. And I think that's an impressive thing with the Dolphins defense this year is even when things have looked bleak outside of the Jets game, typically they've made really, really good adjustments as these games. And then you think about what the addition of Bradley Chubb is going to bring to the table for them. I'm still confident in their ability to get this done. There's a reason they're a 3.5-point road favorite. They're the better team. And you expect them to go out there and do their, you know, and take care of business. But I will say this. You know, I do think that Chicago is showing faith in the development of Justin Fields and that he is going in the right direction. It was interesting, actually, in the Chicago Sun-Times on Friday, there was a column that said, and this is amazing, the Bears need to help Justin Fields like the Dolphins bolstered Tua Tagovailoa, which if you read that column a year ago, you would laugh it off the screen. But it is funny now, everybody's starting to think, you know, oh, Tua wasn't very good. We don't think he was very good, but the Dolphins bolstered him, and he's actually having some success. It's a crazy thing when you do the right thing around young quarterbacks and you actually give them the support they need. They actually maybe turn out to, blossom with some of the talent that you had when you took them in the first round in the first place. So I'm not saying that Justin Fields is going to have the success leap that Tua Tagovailoa is going to have, but I will say, out of all the young quarterbacks that are in that draft, between Trevor Lawrence, been super down on him, knowing that he's had some disasters to go around too, I just, think he's been bolstered a little bit by college rep. And I feel like, it's funny because Tua, everybody's like, I don't see it. I feel like I saw more flashes of Tua in his first couple of years by a long shot than I've seen from Trevor Lawrence, who his record's pitiful. He turns the ball over a lot. And I just really don't see it. And I feel like once again, ironically, as a Canes fan, I was always more fearful of Travis Etienne when they took on Clemson than I was even of Trevor Lawrence, because Travis Etienne, he sliced through the Canes like a hot knife through butter. It was embarrassing what he was able to do to the Miami Hurricanes. So that tale is playing out again in Jacksonville, but I don't know what that leads for the fortune of him. Zach Wilson, I feel like a lot of Jets fans are rats off a ship on him. Mac Jones, we know that his coach maybe rats off a ship on him. And so you look at Justin Fields and you're like, maybe he's the quarterback out of the 2021 draft that is actually going to be successful. With the Miami Dolphins adding to their pass rush and having Bradley Chubb, you're expecting that pass rush is going to improve. And that was the big, that's the big stat that everybody wants to see from the Miami Dolphins. And Justin Fields, he's been sacked more than any other quarterback this year, 31 times, has been sacked 8 times in just the last 2 weeks. This guy gets hit a lot, even though he has that athleticism and he can put up some big time rushing yards. He is still sitting back there in the pocket trying to make some things happen. And for the Dolphins, you want to be able to make sure you can take advantage of that. They've been burned a couple times on, a game like they did against Lamar Jackson, but they were able to really roundabout and get what they had to do. So interesting to see what the narrative is around him and them doing some things around it, but also saying that, hey, you know how we should build around our young quarterback? Do what the Dolphins did with Tua. It's so ironic how this stuff is all kind of coming around for the Miami Dolphins. But as far as Bradley Chubb is concerned, he was introduced to the media, and he talked about his happiness of being with the Miami Dolphins.
Feels great, man, to be honest with you. It feels great just to get around the guys and get around Coach McDaniel and see the culture that's already here. And it's a lot of leaders on this team, man. I'm just glad I could come in and fall to a good position where guys are winning, guys care, and we could get after these playoff run, the Super Bowl, and accomplish all the goals we go out there and fight for.
Man, I do love the fact that everybody is bringing that up this week. Like, I know it's making some people nervous and some of the national media. Who did I see this week that was talking about it? It was Bart Scott. Bart Scott was upset with Tua because he was like, Tua's talking about Super Bowl. Why don't you have some humble pie? This is coming from the guy who shouted, can't wait. You know, like, this is the guy who's telling people to eat humble pie. Now, yes, it was the Jets going to the AFC Championship. I get it. But still, the can't wait guy is telling Tua Tagovailoa to eat humble pie, as if this hasn't been the classiest individual throughout his entire NFL career with everybody taking a dump on him. He takes one little stab at people saying that, I got the deep ball, huh? Little subtle jab. And he's like, how about you calm down there, Tua, with your peacocking all over the place? It was just, what do you expect from Jet Up, right? Like, that is what Jet Up's going to jet up with Greenberg and Tannenbaum and Bart Scott and Rex Ryan, the whole lot of them. Jet Up, it is going to jet up. But anyway, Bradley Chubb being around, all the photos coming out of him being there, wearing number 2, part 2 of his career, Goosey's galore. It's all happening for the Miami Dolphins. It's very, very exciting. This was him on what he thinks of joining a very stacked defense, including being alongside a young pass rusher in Jalen Phillips.
It's crazy, man. We actually played the Jets kind of like right after the Dolphins did, so I got a chance to see him rush, see this whole defense play out, you know what I mean? And I always watch the edge guys because I'm going against the tackle, so I'm trying to figure out what tails they got and stuff like that. But when I watched that whole room, man, with Gink and Mel and JP and all those guys that were rushing the passer and Agba, man, it's a beautiful sight to see, and I'm glad I could just be a piece of that, you know what I mean? And I know all the things that Jalen does well with his length, with his size. He's one of the biggest humans I've seen, you know what I'm saying, face to face, and I get to practice every day with him. So it's going to be a great opportunity, man. I know he brings that power, he brings that finesse. He does a great job of bringing both. So I know we can match each other with that. So I'm excited about it.
One of the things that I've really loved that the Dolphins have done, especially with Jalen Phillips and Jalen Waddle, the two Jalens, is they've now paired them both with established guys who already have a track record, already in production, and they've put the big money into those guys. You know, one of the weird things that they did is they paid Xavier Howard and they paid Byron Jones kind of at the same time. They were both guys at that position and big-time contracts. And, like, if you're a GM, you probably would typically want, like, one guy you're getting a lot of production out of that's not making that much money yet, and then one guy who's got a big fat cat contract. And I think that's the exciting thing about a guy like Tyreek Hill is Tyreek Hill makes a ton of dough, one of the highest paid receivers in the league. Jalen Waddle, still on a rookie deal. Jalen Phillips, rookie deal. Bradley Chubb, big fat contract. So I think those are some exciting things as far as the team building is concerned with Miami going into this week. But listen, man, Mike McDaniel's got to be fired up. I mean, I saw this quote from Von Miller on the Pat McAfee show where he says, Bradley Chubb generally loves the game of football. I hate that he's in our division with us, but he's going to be unstoppable. And to me, dude, you know what that is. That's Goosey's galore. That's good. That just tastes good. That smells good. It just hears good. All of that is good. And Mike McDaniel, who once said that his favorite philosopher was Socrates, or referenced Socrates, he's got a new favorite philosopher. All right, it's Socrates. That's who he's got right now in Bradley Chubb. All right, he's gonna be sitting there pondering life, sacking quarterbacks. That's what's gonna be going on with him, dude. Absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to this one coming up on Sunday. Can't wait to recap it with you all. And hope the Dolphins can keep this train rolling.